Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. By the grace of Allah, our G3 Hifz course 2021 is starting now, and there is a quite great interest shown in this class, and this is a selected Hifz-ul-Qur'an course, and this is a progression route from G1, G2, and now our Atfal and Nasirat in G3. So memorizing the Holy Quran is the oldest tradition in Islam. Basically, our beloved master, the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, memorized the verses of the Quran first by listening to the angel, the Jibreel alayhi salam, as tradition tells us. And after that memorization, he conveyed that message to his companions. First of all, his wife, Hazrat Khadija radiallahu ta'ala anha, and then other companions. And then it was, started to be written down. But the oldest tradition is the memorization, hifz of the verses of the Quran. And this tradition continued in the holy life of the Holy Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam almost 23 years. And after 23 years, when the revelation came to an end, basically the Holy Quran, and the Holy Quran was then arranged according to the divine instructions that which verse will be kept or arranged after which verse, and the chapters and their names. And now the text of the Holy Quran we find from Surah Al-Fatiha to An-Nas is a quite well arranged and a full divine lecture, and certain parts are memorized throughout the 1400 years, the Islamic history, by millions or peoples all over the world. And this memorization starts from the very beginning of a child, male or female. Surah Al-Kawthar, Surah Al-Ikhlas, Surah Al-Asr, these are the three chapters which are memorized in the very beginning of a person's life, because after Surah Al-Fatiha as well. So Surah Al-Fatiha and small chapters are memorized first in the beginning of Islamic life, because at the age of 7, according to Islam, the parents are required to admonish and to motivate and encourage their children to offer prayers. And in prayer, the Holy Quran is recited from memory by heart, Surah Al-Fatiha, and at least a couple of chapters to make at least 2 units of the prayer. So, and that continued for all life. And by the grace of Allah, our Atfal and Nasirat, they will be memorizing chapters of the Holy Quran, selected verses of the Holy Quran, and especially those chapters and those verses as choice 1, which our beloved Huzur Sayyidullah Ta'ala bin Asil Aziz recites in Fajr, Maghrib, and Isha prayer. Okay, so without further of this syllabus, I think your in charge will tell you all that what is going to happen with the next 50 classes, because the 50 classes will take place in a 10-week course. And inshallah ta'ala, and this is also very important in this way, that for Al-Hafizun Hifz-ul-Qur'an class, which we have here in London, and our Atfal and Nasirat, they are memorizing many parts, several parts of the Holy Quran. One of the condition to enter as a student of Al-Hafizun to pass out to be a graduate of G3 course. And then we have a higher degree of the Hifz, and that is Madrasatul Hifz. And Madrasatul Hifz requires a successful completion of Al-Hafizun course. So you can see that G3 course is particularly important because the other higher routes, Al-Hafizun and then Madrasatul Hifz, cannot be a straight away entry is not possible, but through progression. So those who will be having a good high achievers in G3, and if they wish to continue, then they will be offered an interview to come to Al Hafizun and further to Madrasatul Hifz route for the entire Hifz of the Holy Quran. So may Allah bless this course enormously and enable all our youngsters, our children, Atfal and Nasirat, to memorize with the great love of the Holy Quran. And ultimately, after that, when they have finished this memorization, small chapters or medium sized chapters and verses of the Quran, selected portions, and inshallah, then they will have that interest uh, to have to know the meaning as well of these verses. So please join me for the silent prayer, and that will be opening will be concluded, and after that your in charge will direct you how the class will be held. So please join me for the silent prayer. Ameen, Allahumma Ameen. Jazakumullah, Asan Jaza. Now back to in charge.
Jazakallah Hafiz Saab. Jazakallah for your wonderful words. I hope that they were a source of encouragement for all our students who are present here today. So now I will give an introduction to our course and an introduction to the class structure as well. So first of all, a little bit background about the G3 course. So by the grace of Allah, this year we received over 250 applications for the G3 course, and many of our students have already graduated from the G1 and G2 courses. This course is a follow-up of the G1 and G2 courses, all of which are specifically designed for Atfal and Nasirat of ages 6 to 12 years. The course was first organized by the Talimul-Quran and Waqf department in September 2018 to fulfill the need of a Hifz platform for those children who have finished reading the Holy Quran with the correct pronunciation and wish to memorize certain chapters and selected verses of the Holy Quran. As Hafiz Saab mentioned, this course also serves as the first step for those students who wish to continue on their journey of Hifz-ul-Qur'an, because after the successful completion of this course, students can apply for Al-Hafizun and then the Madrasatul Hifz. So this course will run over the course of next 10 weeks, and the classes will take place Monday to Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. And the course is planned to end by the 23rd of July, inshallah. So now we will watch a short clip of Hazur Ayyadullah Ta'ala bin Israel Aziz, in which he mentions a little bit about the importance of Hifz.
Assalamu alaikum. Excuse me, we can't hear it.
Okay. I will try again.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Can you hear it now?
No.
Can you hear it now?
No.
Okay.
Are you using headphone?
Yes.
I think you remove it for a while, then you play.
Okay, please let me know now.
Okay. Yes. Yes, I can hear now.
Okay, I apologize for the inconvenience. I'll play it again.
Of the Jamaat. And at the same time, our teacher will ask to memorize some of the verses for the surah, also in the Holy Qur'an. So this is how we used to learn. And even in our fall classes, we were asked to memorize, and there used to be a competition of the Quran. So this is how we used to memorize, and this is the best way. But here we have our own class. We should try to learn Quran by joining that class. And those who cannot, then we should develop their own interest in the way of the Quran and memorizing the Quran. And at least trying to memorize last 20, 30 surah of the Holy Quran. And also remember, like a Quran, the day of talking about also try to memorize first 17 verses of Surah Al-Baqarah. And also try to know the meaning of these verses, because it's very important to know the meaning of the verses. This is how you can increase your faith and save yourself from the negative environment and
So now I will move on. I will state the roles and responsibilities of everyone who is a part of this course in some way. So first of all, I'll start with the role of teachers. Each of these roles comes with a set of responsibilities which must be fulfilled. Here at G3, we have a team of dedicated teachers who work hard to deliver the lessons, not only during the classes, but also behind the scenes, where a lot of hard work goes into preparing for the lessons. Over the past, the teachers have never compromised on the quality of teaching and will continue to teach to the best of their abilities. Next, the role of a student is fundamental to the success of this course. The students are required to participate in each and every part of the class, regardless of whether they are on the mic or not. The students should be listening to the teacher carefully throughout the class and practicing alongside the teacher and other students. Once the class ends, the students should try to complete their homework as best as they can before the next class. Lastly, the role of parents should not be taken lightly by the parents. A parent knows their child better than anyone else. They know the specific needs of their child, and only they know how much supervision and attention their child needs in order to complete a task. Therefore, it is requested of the parents to actively participate in the course along with their child. If the parent does not show an interest in the child's learning, the child will not be as motivated to learn and to do their best. I will now move on to the course curriculum, which is developed from the book Nisabul Hifz. This year, we have included Surah Al-Fatiha, the last 10 chapters, and selected verses of Surah Al-Baqarah in our course. We have included the first 17 verses of Surah Al-Baqarah, as mentioned by Hazur Yadahullah Ta'ala bin Isra al-Aziz in the clip which I played earlier. I will now move on to explain how the classes are planned to take place. So each class will start with a brief lesson introduction, and the introduction is divided into two parts. So the classes will start with a brief lesson introduction and the opening prayer. The prayer used are the same as G1 and G2, and it is hoped that many students would have memorized them by now. The opening prayer will be followed by a quick reminder of the class etiquettes. After the class etiquettes, we will teach the new lesson, and the lesson will start with the surah introduction. The surah introduction is divided into two parts, the first part being the basic facts about the chapter. The basic facts will include the number of the chapter, the meaning of its name, and where it was revealed. The second part of the introduction will include some important points from the subject matter. The surah introduction will be followed by the rule in focus, which also has two components. First, the rule will be taught by the teacher. At this point, the student should listen carefully, and then examples will be practiced by some students. This will be followed by the surah audio clip. When the surah audio clip is being played, we will request the students to practice along with the audio clip. After the audio clip has been played, we will select a few students to read the selected verses, and then after that, they will be provided feedback. It is not possible to pick all the students. However, those students who are not selected in that particular class should also practice alongside the students, and they should listen carefully to the feedback, because often the children are making similar mistakes. So you can also learn from the mistakes of your class fellows. So a major part of our class will be spent on listening. To Hifz. However, we understand that it is not possible to listen to the Hifz of every single student within the 1 hour class. Therefore, we have come up with this solution that if you are not heard, if you are not taken on the mic during a week, you can record your Hifz. For example, in the first week, we will cover Al-Fatiha and An-Nas. And if your child is not picked, you can record their Hifz and you can submit it on the Talimul-Quran website. There is a portal called Tilawat Submissions. If you click on that, a form will open. You should fill in the form with your information, and then there will be an option to upload the recording. After you have uploaded the Hifz recording, click on Submit, and inshallah, the Hifz, we will listen to the Hifz. We have a set of teachers who will be working in the background as well. They will be listening to these recordings and marking them, and all of the marks will go on our records. So after listening to the Hifz, the next thing on our agenda will be the weekly quiz. Now, as the name suggests, the quiz will only take place once a week, and that will be on a Friday. Unless there's something else planned for Friday. For example, in the second week, we will be having the Khilafat Day Jalsa on Friday. In that case, the weekly quiz will take place on the following Monday. Now, the quiz itself will have 3 sections and 7 questions in total. As you can see on the screen, the first section will be about the surah content. Questions in this section will be based on surah introduction covered over the week. The second section will have questions regarding the tajweed rules, which will also be covered over the week. And the last section will have questions from the surah itself. This section will test how well the students remember the surah. At the end of every class, the teacher will set homework. The homework will have 3 components. First one will be to memorize the verses taught during the class. Second one is to revise the surah or verses that were covered in previous classes And lastly, an activity called Rule Quest. This activity is designed to be a fun activity to encourage and develop the habit of analysis in students. In this activity, students will be asked to search for examples of a specific rule in the given surah. It is important that students participate in this activity because, as mentioned earlier, there will be questions based on these rules in the weekly quiz, inshallah. So, sometimes due to unforeseen circumstances, it is possible that the student might miss a class. In that case, you can always revisit the lesson on our Talimul-Quran YouTube channel. And as I mentioned, it is very important for the students to attend all classes and also to attend them from the start to the beginning. So that's why you can always revisit by going to the Talimul-Quran channel. Okay, so Hafiz Saab already did the silent prayer, so I will just discuss how we will end our classes. So as usual, we will end our classes with the ending prayer. The prayer which we will be using in our course is an extended version or a longer version of the same prayer which was being used for G1 and G2. And we hope that a lot of the students have already know the first section of this prayer by heart. And hopefully by the end of this course, the students would have memorized the next section as well, inshallah. So this is the end of my presentation and the end of the opening session. So now we will start our lesson, first lesson. Okay. So I will start with the lesson introduction. So today we will be learning Surah Al-Fatiha. And we are going to start the lesson with an opening prayer. Can I request the support teacher to choose a student for the opening prayer?
Farhad Ahmed.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Okay. So do you did you complete G1 and G2 before this?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So you would have already practiced this prayer numerous times. Okay, so let's read this, starting with Bismillah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Auzubillahi Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbisrah li Sadri.
Okay, so this is Dal. Sadri.
Wayassir li amri.
Okay. Jazakallah. And the translation?
Lord, expand my mind and make my task easy for me.
Okay. Jazakallah. So this prayer is from the Holy Quran. It is from chapter Taha, verse 26 and verse 27. Okay. So now I will give a short introduction of Surah Al-Fatiha. So the term Al-Fatiha means the opener. This chapter has 7 verses in total, including Bismillah, and it was revealed in Makkah. So the best known name of this surah is Fatihatul Kitab, which means the opening chapter of the book. This chapter formed part of the Muslim prayers since the very beginning, and this point was mentioned by Hafiz Saab as well earlier today. The surah forms, as it were, an introduction to the Quran and contains essence of the entire Quranic teaching. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that Surah Al-Fatiha is the most important chapter of the Holy Quran. So, I hope that all of the students were listening carefully to the surah introduction, and I would just remind all the students that at the end of the week, you will have a quiz, and there will be some questions in the quiz which will come from this surah introduction. So now we will move on to our rule and focus. Okay, so today our rule and focus is Al-Maddul Waqf. Al-Maddul Waqf means temporary elongation due to a pause. Okay, so Waqf means pause and Mad means to prolong, okay, to elongate. So this type of Waqf or this type of elongation is observed when a word ends with a consonant preceded by a letter of elongation or an ishbaya stretch. Okay, so you can see the 3 letters of elongation, which are also known as the huruf al-mad or mad letters. Okay, they are blank alif, waw sakin, and ya sakin. Okay, similarly, if the consonant is preceded by the ishbaya strokes, which is vertical fatha, inverted dhamma, and vertical kasra, again, we will apply this elongation. Okay, and it may be prolonged for 2 seconds, 4 seconds, or 6 seconds, depending on the mode of recitation. So it depends on the reader, how fast he's reading or how slow he's reading, and he can choose to prolong it for 2, 4, or 6 seconds. However, it is important to be consistent in your elongation. Okay, if you prolong for 2 seconds in the first verse, then you should continue to prolong for 2 seconds throughout the recitation. So here I have selected some examples, and these examples are taken from Surah Al-Fatiha because Surah Al-Fatiha is our lesson today. So I would like to request the support teacher again for a student.
Anila Ahmad.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm fine too. Okay, so we are going to practice these some of these examples. Okay, let's start with Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم العالمين.
Excellent. So, can you tell me how long did you prolong this last section of the word?
2 seconds.
That's right. Very good. And why did you prolong it for 2 seconds?
Because you need to elongate it.
That's right. We need to elongate it. Okay. And the reason for that is, so this word is taken from the second verse of Surah Al-Fatiha. Okay. And it is the last word of that verse. Okay. And the word ends with the consonant noon and the mad letter ya sakin. Okay, so that's why we need to elongate it for a minimum of 2 seconds. Okay, so well done. Okay, how would you read this example?
Ar-Rahim.
Very good. Next one.
Ad-Din.
Very good. So there is a tashdeed on top of dal, okay, and we have to stress on it, okay, to indicate the doubling of consonants. Okay, we have to make a double sound for dal. So very good. Next one.
نستعين
Excellent. Next one.
المستقيم
Very good. Try that again and make a thick sound for this qaf. Al-mustaqim.
المستقيم
Excellent. Last one.
الز الز الزعلين
Okay, almost right. Prolong the dod for a bit longer. Okay. Ad-dallin.
الظالين
Okay, that's fine. This is a difficult letter to pronounce. Okay, but just remember, it is one of the 7 thick letters. Okay, one of the 7 huruf al-tafkhim. Okay, Jazakillah. We will move on to the next part of our lesson. So now I'm going to play the audio clip of Surah Al-Fatiha. Okay, and I would like to request all the students to recite alongside. Okay, so for this part, we are not going to pick any student on the mic, and all the students are required to practice at home. Okay, so I'll play the audio now. Okay, can I request the ST? Please let me know if you can hear the audio clearly.
Okay. Yes, I can hear.
Okay, Jazakillah. So what I will do is play it from the beginning again, and everyone should recite alongside. Okay, Jazakumullah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك
Okay, so we are only going to cover up to verse 5 today. Okay, and we will finish the surah tomorrow, inshallah. And I'm going to play the surah once more. Okay, and you should also follow it. You should follow the words, okay, with the text on the screen.
Excuse me. I think you recite it first. I think that's better idea. It's not too good sound. You know.
Okay, the sound is not
Hard
clear.
to hear. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I'll go back to the other screen. Okay. So, as the support teacher suggested, I'm going to demonstrate the correct pronunciation first. And again, the students should practice alongside. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. Okay, so Jazakumullah, I hope that everyone was practicing at home. Now we are going to pick a couple of students to go over the same verses.
Can I unmute one student?
Yes, Jazakallah.
Hazik Ahmad.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalam.
Hazik Ahmad, can you unmute yourself?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Okay.
He went to the toilet.
Okay. Can we try another student?
Yes, sure. Farhan Anwar.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Okay, let's start with Tawuz.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين.
Very good, Jazakallah. So I just want to mention one thing. Your pronunciation was really good overall. Okay. I think you tried to make a thick sound for ha. Okay. So the letter ha is a throat letter. Okay. Huruf halki. It comes from the middle of the throat. So we have to differentiate between this ha and this ha. Okay.
Okay.
So do you want to try that again? Alhamdu.
Alhamdu.
Okay, very good effort. Next one is Ain. Again, Ain is also a throat letter. Okay, so can you try that again? Al-Alamin.
العالمين
Very good, Jazakillah. Okay, can you also try this word?
نعبد
Okay, that was much better. Jazakallah. Can we have another student?
Yes. Sabika.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Okay, so we will start with Tawuz.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين.
Okay, I couldn't hear you at the end. Your voice was very low. Okay, but I will give you feedback on in the beginning on the things that I noticed. So first of all, the letter Ra. Okay, so while I give her feedback, can we mute her? So, okay. Jazakillah. So first of all, the letter Ra is thick depending on its surroundings, okay, and depending on the signs or the stroke it's carrying. So in this case, the letter Ra is carrying the stroke of Fatha, okay, and therefore it will have a thick sound, okay. So instead of Ra, it will be Ro, Orobi, okay. So if you can try that.
Rabbi
Okay, very good, much better. Can you also try this word?
Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim.
Okay, much better. So again, the Ra here is going to be thick. Ar-Rahman.
Ar-Rahman.
Okay. Can you also try this word? So I mentioned to the student before you, the sound of Ain should come from the middle of the throat. Okay. And it should be different from the sound of Alif. Okay, so try that again.
Na.
Yes, the whole word.
Na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in.
Okay, so very good. Again, in the last word, we have Ain again. So can you try that again?
Nasta'in.
Okay. Nasta'in.
Nasta'in. Nasta'in.
Okay, very good effort. Jazakillah. So now we will have one more student.
Zishan Ehsan.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Okay, let's start with Tawuz.
So I read the first 5 lines.
Yes, let's start with this first. A'udhu billah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahmanir Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in.
Okay, very good. Mashallah, you recited really well. Okay, just one thing here in the fourth verse. You have to prolong this for 2 seconds. Okay, do you know why you have to do that? Assalamu alaikum.
So I Maliki Yaw
Okay. Yawmi.
Maliki Yawmiddin.
Okay, it was much better. But do you know why we have to prolong here for 2 seconds? Okay, so it's okay if you don't remember. So here we have Vaw Sakin. Okay, and the previous letter is carrying the stroke of Fatha. Okay, so that's how we know that this Vaw Sakin is a Vaw Leen or Vaw of soft elongation. Okay, and that's why we have to softly prolong it for 2 seconds. Yawmi. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So keep practicing and inshallah it will get better. So now we are going to move towards the end of our class. Okay, and we will end before the ending prayer. I will set the homework. So for those of you who haven't memorized Surah Al-Fatiha before this, okay, you can try and memorize the first 5 verses which were covered in the class. So the first verse is Bismillah, which all of you, I'm sure that all of you remember anyway. So you're left with 4 verses, short verses. Okay, so try to remember as much as possible. And for those of you who have already memorized Surah Al-Fatiha previously, you can revise it. Okay, and inshallah in tomorrow's class, we will try to listen to as many students as possible. Okay, the second thing, as I mentioned earlier, is the activity. Okay, and in this activity, you have to search for the example of some rules. So if you are in the age category of 6 to 7 years, you have to look for examples of Ishbaya strokes in Surah Al-Fatiha. Okay, if you're in the category of 8 to 9 years, you have to look for examples of mad letters in the same surah, Surah Al-Fatiha. And lastly, if you're in the age category of 10 to 12 years, you have to try and find examples of throat letters, huruf halki, in Surah Al-Fatiha. Okay, and if you think that you have already found these examples, you can find the example of other rules as well. Okay, so if you're in the age category of 6 to 7 years and you have found all the examples of Ishbaya strokes, you can move on to look for examples of mud letters. Okay, and so on. So now we are going to end with the ending prayer. Can we have a student?
Maham Khan.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Okay. Would you like to recite the ending prayer starting with Bismillah?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم ارحمني بالقرآن العظيم واجعله لي إماما ونورا وهدى ورحمة.
Okay, Jazakillah. So I would just like to point out a few things. First of all, in the word Allah, the lam is thick if the letter before is carrying a fatha or a dhamma. Okay, so here try to make a thick sound. Allahumma.
Allahumma.
Very good. And then here we have Jim Sakin. So for those of you who have completed G1 or G2, you would already know that on this Jim, we have to do a jerking sound, okay? A soft jerking sound. Waj'alhu.
Waj'alhu.
Jazakillah. So now let's end with the translation. Assalamu alaikum.
O Allah, have mercy on me through the great Quran, and make it for me the leader, the light, the guidance, and the mercy.
Jazakillah. So with this, we are going to end our today's class. And inshallah, tomorrow we will start our class promptly at 6 o'clock. So try to be punctual, okay? And try not to miss any of the classes and make sure to do your homework as well. Okay, so with this, we are going to end our class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.